So here's the situation. It's Labor Day, a lot of places are closed, but Home Depot's not closed. And I'm just restless and I don't want to wait till tomorrow. So I'm going to drive about 45 minutes one way to go to Home Depot to get some 2x4s. They're $6 a piece at Home Depot for untreated stud grade. Like, what? Like this right here, this is cool grant. I don't have very much of it. I got that there. So there we go. I've got 8 2x4 by 8 foot long 2x4s in my car. And it looks like I'm about 1.5 inches too short from getting 8. That seems to be a common theme in my life, 1.5 inches short. So yeah, this is my life without a pickup truck. If you guys have not been to Burger King and got the Steak Master Steakhouse burger with light A1 sauce, oh my God. You got to do it. Do it today. Feed your face and make your face happy, because this is a good damn burger. So anyways. So it starts Tuesday morning. I've went ahead and decided to keep this in place. I was going to move it over here to where this ceiling joist is, but I got to remembering, I got wires I got to deal with. I can't cut holes in that little ceiling joist, so I'm just going to leave this here. I'm taking out all the staples that are sticking through, like right here. I'm breaking them off, and I'm going to cut me a 2x4 that's about, I think this would probably be close to like 11.5 inches or 6'11" or something like that, and mount it underneath here and use the 2x4 to kind of push up on that a little bit. And then I'll come down here and screw it to the floor, and I'm going to take this section of paneling off all the way to the door so I can see what this part of wall has got going on to make sure it's good, because you never know when you might have to replace a wall stud. So that's what I'm doing right now. So since I'm here already, I'm gonna pull back this insulation and look at that cardboard that's behind the wall. Y'all can see it's pretty nasty. So I'm gonna take this strip of insulation out and get rid of that cardboard mess. Looks like there's been bugs in it. So I'm gonna pull that out and then go on the outside and unscrew the metal from this stud, and then add some more of this bubble foil in this small section. That way I can have that done. This whole wall will have an exterior thing of bubble wrap, and I can get rid of that junk cardboard. So I kind of got to looking, and there's no screws in the middle going into this stud. Just this one right here, and I've already got the bubble wrap completely underneath this 2x4, so I think I can just trim a little bit off the bottom of this scrap sheet here and just slide it up underneath that 2x4, and that'll be good. There we go. That wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Now what I'm going to do here is I want to measure this piece of wood, because that's going to tell me how far my wall's going to come out. And let's see. So we're right at 4 foot. A little bit, yeah, that's right at 4 foot. So that'd be easy on the 2x4. So I'll just cut one 2x4 in half, and then that will give me my bottom piece here, and then I'll have to mark a spot on the bottom 2x4 and drill that hole so that bolt, that piece of thread or all thread or whatever can go through it. Sweet. So there's the all thread, and what I'm doing is just taking my 2x4 and propping it up against that bottom board, and I'm going to use the old board, let's see, to tell me about how far in that piece of thread was. Oh hush, they're not coming to get you. Bada bing, bada boom. You know what? I got to looking the way the board on the ceiling's sitting. I think instead of having my board turned over this way, I should have had it turned over that way. So I screwed off, or not screwed, but I drilled off center. Oh, so let me try that again. Now, that makes a little bit more sense. Let's start building this wall. So here's where I'm struggling. This board that's on the floor, I put my square up on it, and the back looks like it's okay. But I get the feeling that this front edge is kicking out over here a little bit. Now, I don't know if it's just the way I'm looking at it, or if the lines in the floor are throwing me off. But if I open the door and keep the door square, well, close to square, see how it looks? I don't know, is it just me, or are the lines in the floor playing games with me? I can't tell, because it's sitting about the same spot on the 2x4 on the floor as it is up here on the ceiling right there. See, it's about a ½ inch in. About a 1/2 inch in. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Well, I'm just going to roll with it. I mean, if it's going to be off, it ain't going to be off a whole lot. Oh, well. So, my next problem up here is because this little board right up here, it's only like 2.5 inches wide, I think. Let's see. Yep, 2.5. And my 2x4 down here is 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so if I build this wall and just use that the way it is, my wall's gonna be at an angle, and my trim and everything's not gonna fit flat. It's gonna have like a little bow in it. So I've got an itch. So what I'm gonna do is take my other piece of 2x4 that I cut right here, and I'm going to take my 1-inch hole cutting thing. I'm going to cut me out a notch here. That way my wires will fit through, and I'm just going to take that 2x4 and just screw it right to here, and I'll get my little metal plates that I put on the outside that way you can't screw into the wires where the 2x4 is. And then I'll cut 2x4s to stand on top of this piece and push up against my new 2x4, you know, like so. And then I can put in my centerpieces. Hope this makes sense to some of y'all, because sometimes only things make sense in my head. So if you look down here, see how my 2x4 sitting in about that far on that board, or that 2x4, and this board here sitting about the same. So I need to come out 3.5 inches, and I'm going to make a line, and that right there should tell me where my 2x4 needs to be to match that one on the bottom. Works in my head. I mean, I could have used my multi-tool, but I'm a jackass. Forget it. Go. And of course, I cut way too much out to where my little plate won't work. I can't hammer it in, so what I'll have to do is just use one side and hammer it into 2x4, and then I'll just fold these down to where they won't, you know, poke into the wire, and at least I'll have this edge to rest flush up against that. So I mean, it'll work. Okay, so you see how bad I failed. I didn't cut it out right. I cut it out too big, because I originally intended for the open side to be over here, but since this is going to be the side where I put my paneling, I was like, well, I would rather have more wood over here to screw into, and at least this will be kindly protecting this side, and over here I can still use my plate, but I'm just going to nail it in like such. I'll use the right end into the wood and just kind of let that free dangle a little bit. I don't think it'll hurt anything. At least it'll offer some kind of protection, and if I really wanted to, I could take another one over here and go that way, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But you never do know. I'll try to figure something out. Like I said, guys, I'm no carpenter. I'm not perfect, and instead of wasting half a 2x4, I'd rather just kind of make it work for this instance. Yeah, no. Well, that's a first. I didn't even have to cut it. I just had to slide it in place. So yeah, that should give me plenty of room, or plenty of spaces to screw this wall to. So cool. So I've got the outsides done, and what I've done now is went in from center here and measured over 16 inches and made a line, and then made another line 16 inches from the previous, and this is where my last two 2x4s are going to go. So I need to cut 2 more, and then framing up this wall will be done. And I'm done with this wall. I didn't show you guys adding the 2 extra boards because, you know, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So I got it all screwed in nice and tight. As I'm sitting here kind of looking at things and making a game plan, I think I'm just going to do one of those like bifolding doors like you see in front of like laundry rooms and stuff a lot. They're about $100, and I think I'll get one that's probably 30 inches wide by 72 inches long, because this right here is only like 81 inches from here to the floor, or a little bit more. So I want to make sure I've got enough space to have like a, you know, where I can trim it out nice. So I'll have the door here, and I think I'm going to have it come all the way over to right here where that line is, because that's where a ceiling joist is. So you can see between the faded, you know, the cleaner part, how much wider it's going to get. And I think I'm going to bring it out to right here, because you can see it stops there. I'm going to bring it out a couple more inches. Like, it's not going to make it a whole lot bigger, but you know, it'll make it somewhat bigger. And I'm thinking I'm going to take this light, instead of having 2 sets of track lighting, I'll just get one longer piece of track lighting. Instead of having 3 lights on it, I have 4. I'm going to take this and move it over here. That way it would be the pantry light, which just makes sense. You know, I hate having to struggle to find or be able to see stuff. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do here. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll pick up a door and a couple other things. So, and that looks like it's about it, guys. Get kind of hungry. It's about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you don't think this small little project like this will take all day, but it does. You know, if you add in the editing and all those stuff, and then it's time for me and Jamie to go get something to eat. So yeah, I hope y'all like this video. Like and subscribe. Check out all the links below, and I think it's about it. Till next video, guys.